Hi, this is Galit Goldfarb. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm going to be talking about managing celiac disease with a gluten-free diet. Celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder that causes inflammation of the small intestine. The disease is prompted by ingesting gluten-containing products in susceptible people. Gluten is a group of alcohol-soluble proteins found in various grains, including wheat, barley, spelt, rye, and kamut. Celiac disease is often brought on by environmental factors, including viral infections and an imbalance of the gut microbiome, making susceptible people more at risk. Now, due to environmental risk factors, the disease can occur at any age. It affects between 0.5 to 1% of the population, with more women affected than men, with a female-to-male ratio of 1.5 to 1. People with Down syndrome, type 1 diabetes, thyroid disorders, anemia, infertility, osteoporosis, and with a family history of celiac disease are about 10 to 15 times more susceptible than the rest of the population. There are two hypotheses for the rise in this disease in recent years, and this include the possibility of a decline in the quality of grains and the production of new grain variants for better preservation during long and far exports of these grains. However, these hypotheses are unconfirmed, and gluten may not be the sole issue behind developing this disease. Also, this condition is still very rare among the global population. Celiac disease is detected through an intestinal biopsy, or tissue transglutaminase is an auto-antigen for this autoimmune disease. The detection is usually sought after a child under 3 years has anemia, diarrhea, loss of appetite, abdominal distension, and failure to thrive. The child is not growing properly. Older children may present symptoms of diarrhea, bloating, constipation, abdominal pain, and retarded growth and weight loss. Now, adults may have neurological symptoms such as headaches, tingling sensations, pins and needles, even epilepsy, ataxia, anxiety, depression, malabsorption syndrome if they are found to have celiac disease. Now, these malabsorption syndrome leads to iron, folic acid, B12, calcium, vitamin A, and vitamin D deficiencies. These deficiencies lead to recurrent mouth ulcers and tooth enamel defects and other diseases involving these nutrient deficiencies, which are complications in unmanaged celiac disease, especially osteoporosis is number one. Now, cancer in the lymph nodes and decreased fertility, ulcerative colitis, and Crohn's disease are possible complications of celiac disease if left unmanaged, as well as reproductive disorders, primarily reduced fertility in both men and women, as I mentioned. Now, even though some people have no symptoms at all, they may still suffer from damaged intestinal walls if they have celiac disease. Now, let's talk about preventing celiac disease before its onset in susceptible people. Now, celiac disease runs in family. Therefore, it is good to take precautionary measures if you have a family history of this disease. Here's how to do this. Innate, non-specific immunity plays a critical role in initiating celiac disease, and you want to ensure that your diet before the possible onset of this disease is full of healthy, fiber-rich foods consumed regularly to support a healthy microbiome, which supports a healthy innate immune response and helps prevent the onset of autoimmune disorders, including celiac disease. Clean and simple foods are key. This can actually be done by regularly consuming whole grain foods, free from additives, preferably organic. Now, if you want to avoid gluten-containing grains in the beginning, when you have a family history of celiac disease, you can also do this, but it's not necessary. As I said, this is a very rare condition with less than 1% of the global population suffering from it. So you want to consume whole grains, be they gluten or gluten-free, gluten-containing or gluten-free. Both are all right if you're still undiagnosed and do not have any symptoms of celiac disease. You also want to consume legumes, fruits, and vegetables and avoid obesity. This way of life helps prevent microbiome imbalances, and several studies have shown a connection between celiac disease and a change in the microbiome's composition. The environmental factors known to influence intestinal microbiome composition are thought to play a key role in development of celiac disease. Breastfeeding your baby for several months after birth, if you have or someone in your family has celiac disease, is very much recommended. I also recommend avoidance of use of antibiotics during the first year as much as you can. It's crucial in preventing the onset of celiac disease and other autoimmune disorders, as this helps produce and support a varied health-promoting microbiome in the newborn. Now let's talk about management of celiac disease. You should start treatment as soon as possible following the onset of the disease and your diagnosis, to prevent any complications that may be irreversible, such as growth retardation in children, abnormal tooth growth, and health and osteoporosis as well. Now, treatment of the disease involves lifelong strict avoidance of gluten in the diet, which improves symptoms and quality of life and prevents other intestinal disorders from occurring, and most often also prevents cancer. The loss of intestinal barrier function, pro-inflammatory innate immune response, and inappropriate adaptive immune response, and along with an imbalanced gut microbiome, are all fundamental features of celiac disease, and avoiding gluten helps in the regrowth of any intestinal villi, the intestinal barrier that may have been damaged. It helps repair the mucosal damage and rebalances the microbiome. Now, tiredness and some neurological symptoms and functional digestive symptoms may persist for a more extended period after transitioning to a gluten-free diet, but full recovery without any symptoms usually takes between 1 and 2 years. Now, it is essential to state that although you should avoid grains that contain gluten, you should not avoid other whole grains. It is typical for people with celiac disease to be at higher risk of heart disease and severe constipation because of insufficient fiber intake following the removal of gluten-containing grains. So fiber-rich grains are essential to maintaining a healthy microbiome and healthy bowel and immune function. You want to avoid wheat, barley, spelt, rye, and kamut, which all contain gluten, and replace them with healthy gluten-free grains that include sorghum, which is a grain rich in fiber and antioxidants, polyphenols, and it is a complete protein with all of the essential 9 amino acids, although not all of the protein is easily digested in sorghum. Also, quinoa. It's a seed rich in fiber, protein, and antioxidants and minerals. Definitely want to add that into your diet. Also, oats is a grain rich in fiber, vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. Also, it even has melatonin that helps more tryptophan get into your brain and calm you and help you sleep better and makes you also happier. Buckwheat is a seed rich in fiber, protein, and antioxidants. It also has the enzyme trypsin, which has antimicrobial and antibacterial properties. Also, the grain, amaranth, it's a seed actually, that is a complete protein rich in vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Also, teff is a grain that is rich in many vitamins, minerals, and fiber, and it is actually a complete protein that gives you energy due to its unique combination of nutrients. It gives you a lot of energy and helps you even focus if you're studying. Now, corn is rich in protein and carotenoids, which are great for eye and skin health, but you should avoid all genetically modified corn. Also, brown rice is gluten-free and rich in fiber and has a large amount of vitamins and minerals that have a soothing effect on your nervous system. However, do not consume brown rice daily, as brown rice may have high amounts of arsenic, a naturally occurring toxic element. Now, when purchasing foods, check their ingredients. It is crucial to avoid gluten in your diet. So check the ingredients, avoid processed foods for your health. Now, processed foods also include gluten-free versions of bread that are rich in starches. These should be avoided. Instead, you can buy a small home bread baker and bake your own bread with healthy gluten-free grains. These home bread bakers work automatically and do not require time or effort to make these healthful breads. You also can add seeds to these bread and spices to your liking that add nutrition and flavor to your bread. Now, you want to note, in celiac disease, following a gluten-free diet for life may bring about difficulties as there may be gluten contamination of fields that are growing gluten-free grains. Now, digestive enzyme supplementation may be of benefit in such cases, just to be on the safe side. So to conclude, although a diagnosis of celiac disease is not easy to digest, overall, when consuming a high-fiber, gluten-free diet rich in gluten-free grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, and legumes, while also avoiding any unhealthy processed foods, you are setting your future for longevity, health, and a lot of vitality. You will also be avoiding the complications and the medications, which have serious side effects, needed for those with celiac disease who do not adhere to an entirely gluten-free diet. So make sure you get regular checkups to ensure that you are properly adhering to a gluten-free diet and not developing any of these complications. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please also subscribe to my channel if you like this type of content, and visit my website, thegorilladiet.com, to help you lose weight and achieve all of your health and wellness goals. Thank you very much for joining.